Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining midweek. I know it's a little difficult. That's the only slot we have this week. Next week will be normal slot. And as we discussed, class will be given by Ghanshyam Prabhu. And I know some parents are away, so we'll keep it online at the same time, same day, so Sunday, 2nd of October. And before we start the class, just a quick announcement. We have to finish all the assignments by 9th of October. Chapter 1 to chapter 4, if someone has not done chapter 1 and 2, so all chapter 1 to chapter 4, which has short question answers as well as the long answers. So we have to only attempt 4 questions out of 10 questions. So many devotees have already done 1 and 2. You can do 3 and 4, 3, 5, whatever works for you. Okay, let's start. And also just double confirming, some devotees are asking, in Karthik we'll have classes online Thursday 7 to 9. The first date of that is Karthik is starting from 10th of October. So 13th of October we'll have our first BS class, 13-20 like that. And then after Karthik we'll revert back to normal Sunday classes. Okay. So last week we only covered 3 verses, I guess. So we took a lot of time in verse 34. So I may see a couple of devotees to give their understanding of last verse. Maybe we can start from Nidhi Mataji. It's a very, very important verse for all the devotees, whether you are in devotion for a long time or a sort of relatively new. But this verse is very, very important because this goes along all the way till the end, and there is no end in spiritual life in that sense. So it's good to meditate on this particular verse and apply as much as possible on a daily basis.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, maybe you can read the verse as well because it's so important.
Yes, Prabhuji. So only translation or purport as well?
Verse as well, and we will read after you.
Okay. Tadvidhi pratipatena
Tadvidhi pranipatena
pariprashnena sevaya
pariprashnena sevaya
upadhyakshyanti te jananam
upadekshanti te jnanam
jnaninas-tattvadarshina.
Jnaninas-tattvadarshinaha.
Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him.
I think Mataji's internet is frozen.
This verse, like Krishna says, like we should approach the spiritual master and inquire submissively. So there are 3 important words in this verse, like prashnena, which means inquisitive, like how can we so we should ask questions to spiritual master regarding, like how can we remove our sickness, and what should we do, and inquire a relevant subject matter. And the other one is pranipatena. So by approaching the spiritual master, we should, like this is so sorry Prabhu, I don't know about this one.
That's okay, Mataji.
We should be humble, I think humble while asking questions. And third one is the sevya, and we should serve this spiritual master.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is all I could recall.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So
Yeah.
Mataji has give a little introduction. Maybe we can expand on each word. First one, which you can say, Tad Vidhi Pranipadena. So what does Tad refers to? Tad, just a word Tad. Anyone?
The knowledge of Jnana is like the spiritual knowledge.
Is spiritual knowledge. Thank you, Prabhuji. So that refers to the spiritual knowledge, which we discussed in 433. Okay, and then the final. What's the word for a spiritual master in this word, in this verse?
Pranipatena.
No, for the spiritual
master.
master.
No, for a spiritual master is Jnaninas.
Yes.
Jnaninas. Yep. So Jnani, and what's the qualification of that person?
Tattva-darshina.
Where is the word tattva used in this chapter previously?
4.9.
4.9.
In Bhagavatam, where do we see this word?
0.111.
1111.
1111, sorry, yeah.
Vadanti tattvavidas brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdede. So that's one verse. So tattva, what does tattva refers to? Someone else can say. Sumit Prabhuji or Sonia Mataji, tattva. Simple tattva. What does tattva mean?
Truth, Prabhuji.
Truth, yep.
Of the truth, yes.
So truth is about what?
So basically over here they're talking about when we are approaching the spiritual master, we should have the right mood and the right questions in the right questions we should ask.
Sorry, just before we go, what is our attitude? Just define the spiritual master. So we're saying tattva darshana. We're just trying to understand that word.
Okay.
What does tattva mean? Truth. What sort of truth we are talking?
Because he's a realized spiritual master, is a realized soul, and we should approach the spiritual master because he has experienced that, and we should be approaching the spiritual master.
Yeah, so tattva refers to our eternal relationship with Bhagwan, and he has realized that, and we have not realized it because we are covered with lust. If you go back to chapter 3, so we are all jnani, but we are covered with avratam jnanametena nitya jnanino varena. So we are all covered with agyan, ignorance, and because of that we cannot see, but he has tattva darshana. So that is the spiritual master's line. Now when we approach this is spiritual master for what purpose? Tad, for getting the spiritual knowledge. Then what should be our mood? Then we come down to these three words. Okay, so just introduction. So we are approaching, what's his qualification? What are we trying to get from him? That gyan we are trying to get. Now, what should be our attitude? That's the next question. So what are the attitude, as Nidhi Mataji nicely explained? Pranipatena, Pariprashnena, and Seva. The three components are there. Pranipatena, what are the two components of Pranipatena? We discussed elaborately last week.
So right mood and right seva, Prabhuji, right question.
That's the third component. So within these three, says take this one word.
Internal and external.
Thank you, Jamati Mataji. Internal and external. Pranipaten can be done externally and internally. So what does external mean, Mataji? Jamati Mataji, we can expand.
Externally, you need to show humility.
Thank you. So there are many etiquettes, Vaishnava etiquette, which are considered ornaments of Vaishnavas. We follow that. Now, internally, initially, we may not feel like following it, not feel like bowing down, not feel like, doing so many things initially, but we still do it. With just external to show our humility. Which example we took from Shastra to show the humility of a great soul?
Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami.
Thank you. So that was the external component. What's the internal component of it? Just one word I'm taking at the moment, Pranipatena.
Prabhu, he was saying that people tell me that I'm an learned person, but I don't know who am I.
Thank you. So internal humility should be there. Not should I think, oh, actually, I have a PhD degree. My spiritual master is only a school pass out. It should be possible. Any examples anyone remembers? Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, the top scholarly person of his time. Who was his spiritual master? Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who was an Angutha Chap, illiterate. He could not write externally his own name. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur told Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj to go and get a spiritual initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. One of the external reason was, if you are very proud of your knowledge will go down. Garuda approached Kakbhushan in Ramayana. Kakbhushan is a Kawa is a crow. And Garuda is the king of the birds. Now, king of the birds got illusioned. And then Lord Shiva is telling, go to Kag Bhushundi. One of the reasons, again, many reasons, that when a Garuda, the king, will bow down to a lower Pakshi, a lower bird like crow, his pride will automatically go down. So many times when we follow these Vaishnava etiquette, as told by our acharyas, our external pride comes down automatically and we become receptive to receive the knowledge. Like we sing Jai Radha Madhav before the class. So what does it mean, Jai Radha Madhav? So we are coming from outside world where our consciousness is fully agitated. So when we sing Jai Radha Madhav, it allows us to connect with the spiritual reality. And then in the class, whatever is discussed, we will be able to receive it. If you immediately come from outside consciousness, you start listening to the class, you may be disconnected. So Pranipatyan has external as well as internal components. Thank you. Pariprashnena. Who will tell Pariprashnena? Vinay Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Pariprashnena is like a submissive inquiry to the who is taught to Darshina, who is an approach. For example, you give the one example, like approach a doctor for submission to inquire the real solution for the disease, and the relevant inquiry. But is a non-regular activities only is like always a submissive way to ask the question, humble approach.
Yeah, that is Pranipatena. So Pariprashnena refers to what sort of inquiries you will do. Inquisitiveness. So inquisitiveness can be about, my dear spiritual master, how do I expand my business? My dear spiritual master, I'm thinking of buying a shop in Mayapur because there are lots of foreign bodies come there and I will grow a lot in my business. That can be an inquiry, isn't it? Which business should I do? Govinda's I should do, or maybe a cloth shop. A lot of people, maybe a ladies' clothing shop or something like that. So that is also an inquiry, but is it a valid inquiry to a spiritual master? That's the discussion. So Pariprashnena refers to inquiries about what?
To how can we develop our spiritual knowledge and come closer to Krishna.
Thank you. So
that
should be, yes, that should be our base of discussion. How can we come closer to Krishna? Now, there can be some more details. Someone or something is stopping us to go to Krishna. We can discuss with our spiritual master. I really want to become a serious devotee, but this thing is stopping me. Maybe a bodily ailment, maybe some relationships, or maybe some financial thing. That's okay. But the bottom line should be what? One thing. How can I become a better devotee? How can I become? That should be the bottom line of our discussion. Everything else is actually irrelevant. Tasmad Gurum Prapadeta, Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. One who is Jigyasa, inquisitive about Shreya, not prayer. Shreya, long-term benefit. Long-term means spiritual benefit. They should approach a spiritual master. So we should not talk about mundane matters to spiritual master. Very serious matters. And what's the serious matter? As Bhakti Shastri Maharaj said, there is nothing so serious in the world for which we should become serious about. There's nothing serious in the world for which we should become serious about. My Guru Maharaj said, you should become serious about serious matters. Serious means become a serious devotee. We become serious about our business, our family, our this and that. So yeah, you have to do what you have to do, but don't become overly serious in those matters. We take devotional service as very light. Chalega. Whenever we go to temple, it's all right. Whenever we finish our rounds, that's all right. We read Bhagavad Gita, we don't. It's all right. But we have to go to work. We have to serve our boss. And okay, you do what you need to do, but at the same time, seriousness in devotion is very much needed. So that should be Pariprashnena. And Sevaya. What does Sevaya means? Who will tell? Someone. Not Jai Pataka. Jai Prakash Prabhuji.
It's rendering service by means of which one can become, eventually, gradually become Tattva Darshina.
Thank you. So Seva, the literal meaning obviously is rendering service, but what does this service lead to? I'm doing some menial service to my spiritual master. What should it end up with? When we talk about mercy, 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 what does mercy mean? We discussed it earlier. I just hang around with my spiritual master, take photos, put on my Facebook that, I was with my spiritual master who has, 20,000 disciples. So I'm posting photo with my spiritual master to increase whose glory? My spiritual master's glory or my glory? My glory, actually. Huh? I am so great because I am great because I'm with this great person. So a spiritual master doesn't need these sort of glories. Huh? Their glories is when we become serious. We actually glorify them. So this seva will result in mercy, and mercy refers to our more attraction towards Krishna. Simple. Mercy means we are attracted to Krishna more than before we serve this person. Mercy does not mean anything else. That's all external, that's all mundane. And devotion service can be performed, as we know, in mode of goodness, mode of passion, or in mode of ignorance. We can serve our spiritual master in mode of ignorance as well. We're trying to pull others down. Duryodhana was doing service to Durvasa Muni for what purpose? To destroy the Pandavas. So not necessarily what we see with our eyes, that's all in all. No, not necessary, not necessary. Many people are performing devotional service, but what is their purpose? That is the most important. So when we serve a spiritual master, what happens? This aspiring disciple eventually, not obviously in a day or night, eventually will also become Tattvadarshi. He will move forward in that path. He will start realizing the truth which is written in Shastra, which is this sansar, this world is literally dukhalayam shashvatam, is full of misery. Usually what people think, this sansar is full of happiness. It's just I haven't got it, but I will definitely get it. I am working on a project which will definitely give me sukha. Now, last project failed, that's all right. My neighbor's project failed, that's all right. This devotee failed, that devotee failed, but I will be successful. We always, sorry to say, all of us, deep in our heart, have this hope. Hum honge kamyab ek din. We'll definitely going to get the success in this material world. Now, Hiranyakashipu didn't get success, Raman didn't get success, Hiranyaksha didn't get success. All these big Duryodhana didn't get success. So who are we? Not too sure. We are not going to get successful in this material world, materially speaking, but spiritually, yes, there's a lot of hope. As Prabhupada proved, Prabhupada was extremely successful. But in what sense we are saying success? Successful in terms of spreading Krishna's holy name to so many people, so many people. That's real success. Everything else, as per Shastra, is illusion. Even we are very successful today, tomorrow will be gone. Where is Alexander the Great? He came, he was a world winner at the age of 28. He has won most of the parts of the world. Where it is? Britain, who says, the sun will never set in the kingdom of Britain. Where is that Britain? It's a small piece of land now. So everything is very, very temporary in this material world. So this person who has done service to his spiritual master will realize in his heart, not just saying, I can say it as well, but probably have no realization. So he will start seeing the world as from the eyes of Shastra, and then he will eventually also become a Tattvadarshinaha. That is called Seva. Otherwise, if we are going against this principle, we are not serving a spiritual master, we're not serving the deities or the devotees in the right mood. As soon as we are agitated after doing the seva, we should consider something has gone wrong. Very clear definition, very, very clear definition. Devotional service should give a deep inside sukha. Not like material agitation shows sukha, just like watching a movie and getting sukha. That's just an agitation. A deep internal sukha. It will just give, that's one of the main characteristic of devotional service. So if you're not performing it well, it will end up in misery. Okay, and what they will do, Updekshanti Jnanam. So they will give updesh, they will give instruction, and if you follow them nicely, and I think I gave an example of if you have some problem, you go to a doctor, the best doctor of the city, and this best doctor gives you the best medication. But the best medication I take in my hand and I say, I went to the best doctor, it's the best medication which is available for the cure of cancer or whatever, right? But at this stage, medicine will not work, isn't it? So Upadesha or instruction will only work when we start following them. Otherwise, it's all in the air, in the clouds. We will not be able to take the benefit of it. I can become very efficient in speaking, but that doesn't benefit my heart. So bhakti is all about transformation of the heart. So when we follow the instruction, our heart will start changing, and that's a sign of advancement. Otherwise, it's just on an intellectual level. Okay, let's move forward to verse 35. What is this section? Anyone remembers which section we are in now from 35 onwards?
Glories of knowledge.
Glories of knowledge. So first glory Krishna is giving. Who will tell the first glory? Prasannatma Prabhuji, would you like to say?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. The first glory, he is telling that by knowing this knowledge, it will burn away all our. Shall I read the translation, Prabhu?
Yes, please. It's nice to read Prabhupada translation.
Yeah. Yeah. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. So, yeah, so by getting this knowledge, we see all the living entities as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. That's what it says, getting this transcendental knowledge.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. This two more words used here. So, yach gyatva, so by knowing that, na punar moham. What does moha mean?
They will not fall into delusion again.
What is the moha, Prabhuji? What's the
Moha,
definition?
Moham is the illusion.
Okay, Miss, how do we expand this?
Illusion is like material, this birth, death, disease, and old age will not fall into that cycle.
Okay, yes, that's one.
Considering bodily conception of life.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah.
Considering we are the body, that's a big illusion. Another expanded definition of illusion can be what is not good for us, that seems to be very good. Huh? And what is good for us, that doesn't seem to be so good. And the example is devotional service. You ask people to, chant extra rounds. They're like, no, not possible. Extra work for extra double bonus money, they are happy to work. Huh? So illusion is something where we feel, which is not very beneficial for the soul. We feel very attracted towards it, generally speaking. Huh? People are attracted to movies, cricket, sports, cinemas, and name and fame and all that. People very much attracted to that. And they are not attracted to the real service of Krishna. Huh? This is called moha, illusion. Huh? Attraction towards exactly opposite, what is beneficial and what is not beneficial for the, we're talking the soul level. So, and as Prabhuji said, so first illusion is we are the body. First illusion, we have nothing to do with the body. Radhanath Maharaj said, this body is dead. And he gave a lecture, actually the title was Decorating the Dead Body. Like many people spend so much time and energy to decorate this body. They buy so many expensive dresses and perfumes and whatnot, cosmetics. So Maharaj gave, the title was very beautiful. He says, decorating the dead bodies. So if a person is dead, he has no breath going on. You can decorate that person very, very nicely, but what's the use of that? What's the use of that? He said, we should decorate our heart. That's the real decoration. Obviously, devotees understand that. So, na punar moham. So, you will not fall again into illusion. So, Arjun, you are right now into illusion. You're looking at Bhishma and all those and saying they are my relatives, but you will not fall back into the illusion. Yaj gyata, once you know that. Evam yasase pandava. And the second thing, which is very important, actually, two more things. Yena bhutani asheshani. What does bhutani asheshani mean? Ashesha bhuta. Ashesh means no remaining. Unlimited. Everyone includes not only humans, it includes plants, trees, birds, reptiles, aquatics, everything. All the drakshasi. So drakshasi means you will see. How you will see? Atmani. Atmani here refers to on a spiritual platform. You will not see, okay, I am a big human, a big bodybuilder. He is an ant, so I go and step over the ant. No, ant actually is exactly same as a big bodybuilder. On a spiritual platform, both souls are exactly same. It's just the cover is different. If someone is driving a bicycle on the road and someone is driving a big truck, for example, but both drivers are same, isn't it? The truck, the external vehicle is different. I think I read somewhere while driving, it says cycles are also vehicles. Huh? Cycles are also vehicles. So we cannot just crush over. Oh, you are going on a cycle, so I will crush over. And the next time police will crush you in the jail or something. Huh? So cyclists are also a human. Similarly, an ant or a cockroach, they're also exactly same as you. All the thing is their dress is different at the moment. Huh? Based on their karma, their dress is different, but doesn't make them a low person. So Dakshasi Atmani. And then last we say Atho Mai. Mai refers to what? Mai word is very important. Kanika Mataji.
Prabhu, it means my anshas. They're all mine.
They're all mine. And what does it expand to, Mataji? So that's obvious literal meaning. Kanika Mataji, sorry, aapka mute hai. No, sorry.
Prabhu, I think they just mean that they're all, they're all mine, or they come from me. They belong to me, and yeah, they are eternally connected to me.
Okay, and then you can expand it to not only you are concerned with them, I am also concerned for them. So when you think I'm concerned about Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, and all these soldiers, they will all be killed, and the social system will be disrupted. Actually, they are actually mine. So if you are worried about them, I'm more worried about them because I'm the father. They are my. My means they are mine. So Krishna is very openly presenting his relationship with Asheshani Bhutani, with all the jivas. He's saying they are mine. So we'll get the spiritual vision. We will understand they are connected to Krishna, and we will never fall back into the illusions. This is the first glory Krishna is giving in this particular verse. Let's go to 36. Manmohan Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
You were there last time?
Yeah, I was, Prabhu.
I
can't remember most of it, but I'll try.
That's okay, Prabhu. If you can't, that's all right.
Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So, this material world is considered as the ocean of nescience, and sometimes as a blazing forest. No matter how good a swimmer you are, you will always struggle because that's how this material world has been designed. So if someone comes and gives you a hand and pulls you up from this ocean into the boat of Krishna consciousness, then he's the greatest savior. And once you get onto that boat of transcendental loving service and bhakti for Krishna, then you can easily cross this ocean of nescience.
Yeah.
And all your struggles will end immediately.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So,
just one more word we can look into this. Papebhya papakratamaha. So anyone remembers the meaning of tamaha? Tama has multiple meanings. We can start from the simple one.
Sinner.
Is greater.
Tamaha.
Was
Darkness. Tama means darkness. Tamso ma jyotirgamaya. So we have this sutra, Brahma Sutra. Tamso ma jyotirgamaya. So from tamas, from darkness. And darkness refers to what? I switch off the light, that's darkness. That's external darkness. We have internal darkness. Our heart is completely contaminated at this stage. So that's called darkness, right? So now, Krit-tamaha. Krit-tamaha refers to, now here, the tama is representing something. So tama in itself means darkness, ignorance. Tama here refers to Krit-tamaha. So Krit mane karna, to do, tamaha. One who has done the topmost sinful activity. So one person can be a sinful person, one can be a very sinful person, one is the topmost sinful person. And I gave an example last week. Anyone remembers? One of the example. Okay.
Prabhu, you gave example of Valmiki and Ratnagar.
Yeah. So what was his sinful activity? If you can explain to everyone.
Prabhu, you were saying that he had, I think it was him who had bullocks of, was it of the thread of the Brahmins that he had killed?
7.5 bullock cart full of Brahman threads. One person. That's amazing. Just translating, maybe like 1 million people or something he killed. That many Brahmanas, not only people actually, I should say. Brahmanas he had killed. quite a sinful person. But even if you are the most sinful person, among sinfuls, you're the topmost. You have the PhD degree in Tihar jail. Whatever jail is in Australia, I don't know. So on the topmost jail, you have the topmost degree that you have done the topmost sin. So you are suffering the topmost jail. In the jail also, I'm sure they have different categories. So even if you are like that, what will happen? Sarvam Gyan Plavane. Plavane refers to, as Manmohan Prabhu was saying, boat. Plavan. Plavan means to float. So Plavane refers to the boat. So which boat we are talking? Gyan Plavane, the boat of knowledge. But even if that person sits on the boat of knowledge, Vrajinam Santarishyasi, he will cross over. He should be able to cross over. So this verse actually is a very hope-giving verse for all of us. In different degrees, obviously, we have done some sinful actions in the past, and that's why we have got the body. We have the body. You cannot say, I haven't done any sinful acts. Prabhupada, if you have the body, that means you have done sinful act, because this body is the result of your sinful acts. And the day your sinful account is clear, this body won't be there. Now, again, we're not talking about pure devotees like Prabhupada and different spiritual masters. Their body is very different than our body. But the point is, even if you're the most sinful person, if you take help of this knowledge, this is so sublime, this is so powerful. Now, Manmohan Prabhu may have a very strong pill, may look a very simple, chota sa, a small pill, but Manmohan Prabhu said, oh, this is don't underestimate this pill, isn't it? Some pills are like that. Some poisons are like that. You just touch with the tongue and you're gone, finished. Some cobra poison or something. Some people suicide. They have these capsules. Anyway, I don't know much about poison, but even the smallest quantity can make a big difference, isn't it? So similarly, this knowledge is so powerful, it's so sublime. If you take help of this knowledge, even if you're the most sinful, you can cross over. So very hope-giving verse, another glory of this knowledge. I should rather say transcendental knowledge, not just the knowledge. Okay, now 437, I think we have to start from here. Who will start? Who has not? Rasanand Prabhuji, I think you were not there last week.
Samito Granir.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Can you hear, Prabhu?
Yes, I can hear. Yes, I can
hear. Yate Damasi Samito Gnir.
Yate Dhansi Samito Gnir.
Basma Sat Kurut Arjuna.
Basma Sat Kurut Arjuna.
Jnani Agni Sarva Karmani.
Jnanagni Sarva Karmani.
Basma Sat Kurut Tata.
Basma Sat Kurute Tatha.
As the blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is similar thoughts which is being carried from 436. We're saying even if you're the topmost sinful person, you can take the help of this boat of knowledge, and then you can cross over. So how does it work? So he's saying, Yate Dhansi is giving another analogy. Krishna is giving another analogy. As you have a lot of blazing fire turns firewood to ashes. So if you put firewood into a blazing fire, what will happen? All the firewood will turn to ashes. Similarly, this transcendental knowledge is like a blazing fire. When you put all these, material reaction activities in that fire, all the reactions will burn out. All the reactions will not be able to act upon it. And how does it work? Because I think we have discussed it earlier. Devotional service burns the seed of lust. It burns the seed of lust. When the seed of lust is burnt, we have no more lustful propensity in our heart, then there is no more reaction. And that is only possible by taking help of devotional service. There's no other way. Now you can do some yajna and some sort of you can perform some sort of yajna or some sort of repentance activity that can reduce the burden of your reactions, but that cannot take away the desire to act sinfully. The desire to act sinfully is always there. That's called the seed. And once the seed is burned, then the fruits the tree itself will never grow. So it says our body is the result of that sinful actions. So why? Because we had the desire, and when we leave this body, the desire goes with us from one body to another body. The Sukshma Sharir, the subtle body, goes along with the soul. So whatever impressions we have in our subtle body gets carried over. So the only thing to stop this is to burn this seed. And how do we burn the seed? Taking help of devotional service, which comes from devotional knowledge. So this fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activity. And again, we are saying this knowledge is not just on an intellectual basis, it is the realized knowledge which we are talking. Another example comes to my mind. Ajamil was at young age, obviously, is very nice young grahastha, but later on he fell down. But then again he came back to devotional life, and it says within 15 years he went back to Godhead. What happens to his reaction? Vishnu Dutas explained in 6.2. There is no more reaction because he has uttered one word called Narayan. And they say, what to speak of the whole word? As soon as he uttered the word Na, just one letter Na, all his reactions are all burnt out. He does not deserve any more reactions. So that is the potency of the holy name and the holy fame. Krishna's glory is so nice. Okay, 438. Seva Mataji, would you like to read?
Sure. Nahi jnanana sadrasham.
Nahi jnanena sadrasham.
Pavitram iha vidyate.
Pavitram iha vidyate.
Tatsvayam yoga samsiddha.
Tatsvayam yoga samsiddha.
Kalenatmani vindati.
Kalenatmani vindati.
In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism. And one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time.
Thank you, Mataji. So, nahi jnanena sadasham. So, there is nothing as good as this knowledge. Pavitram, it's very, very pure. So, this knowledge is very pure, it's very sublime. Tat swayam yoga sansiddha. So, this will help you to situate in yoga, in connection to Krishna. And Kalen refers to Kal, refers to time. Atmani refers to in Atma, or you can say inner happiness. That you will enjoy inner happiness. So basically what this verse is saying, this knowledge is very pure, is very sublime. And if you take help of this knowledge in situating yourself in yoga, connection with the Lord, Kalen Atmani Vindati Dham. This line is extremely important. In this world, at the moment, where are we seeking happiness? Generally speaking, in outside possessions, isn't it? We feel many times if we have just a bigger house, a bigger car, a better job, some more people under my control, I will be happier. If I have some more clothing, some expensive jewelry or this and that, we feel better. So we are seeking happiness in outside components, but these outside possessions, it says, does not replace our inside emotions, and that's why we feel vacuum. But a person who is feeling inside happiness, Prabhupada said, I can sit under a tree anywhere in the world and be the most happy person. I can be the most happy person because he is not seeking happiness outside. So generally, when we take the help of this knowledge, Kalen Atmani, and Prabhupada writes, in due course of time. In due course of time. So Kalena, in due course of time. Why in due course of time? Because nothing happens overnight. It's not like a magic touch, which you just press the button and you become from a karmi to a devotee. It doesn't work that way. Devotion gets cultivated in the heart. You nurture. So your spiritual master gives you the seed, and then you nurture the seed. Chaitanya Charitamrita says you nurture the seed by Shravan and Kirtan, by hearing about Krishna and by glorifying Krishna. And this acts like watering that seed. And when you water that seed, what will happen? The seed will germinate and become like a big tree. And the tree will eventually take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. So it's very important we protect this seed very nicely. And Chaitanya Charitamrita also says when we make offenses towards devotees, so we are like We have a small plant and we are allowing a big mad elephant to come into our garden. What that mad elephant will do to this small plant? He will trample upon it and destroy the plant. So Vaishnava Aparadh acts like that mad elephant, which destroys our little Bhakti Lata creeper. So in due course of time, when we are inculcating this knowledge, we are practicing this knowledge, we are serving the spiritual master, asking the right question in the right mood, following all the etiquettes, what will happen? Instead of seeking pleasure outside, we will start enjoying inside. And the example can be felt. Last week we had Madha Prabhu's Kirtan. How many of you attended the Kirtan? Huh? Many of you, I guess. Huh? Jambati Mataji raising the hand. Seva Mataji was there arranging the program. Did you get any money for attending the program? Any $50 voucher? Anyone got it? I didn't get it. No? Did you get any position or then any other extra pizzas to attend the Madha Prabhu's Kirtan? No. But the hall was completely packed. I saw some Matajis were dancing in the foyer actually. There was no space inside. It was fully packed. So what it refers to, we all were blissful inside. Huh? No money or no external possessions or anything was given, but we were all happy. We came from very far distances. Jamati Mataji comes from like 50 kilometers. Huh? So we come. Why do we come? We feel inner joy, inner happiness, and that shows the power of Krishna consciousness. Huh? That shows people pay money to come and join. One Mataji was saying in the temple she was serving, another Mataji, she came from outside, probably first time in the temple, and she was asking this Mataji, she's not here in the call today, she's a part of our group. So she was asking this Mataji, so how much do you get paid to work here in the temple, she meant. And this Mataji said, I don't get paid, I pay to work here. Huh? So devotees work so hard, whole day, whole night, say in Janmashtami or Radha Ashtami, they work three nights. I know one Mataji didn't sleep for 2 days. So much decoration work she was doing, huh? And they pay donation as well to Krishna. So for a normal person, it's completely opposite. Are you crazy? You're giving your hard-earned money to these stone idols, you know. And what are you gaining? You're working 6 hours in a row for Krishna. But we know, because this is called Atmani Vindati. We enjoy in itself. This Krishna consciousness is so sweet. It's so sweet. It just attracts. It just attracts. And the more you get involved in it, the more you get attracted towards it. I was just speaking with Jamati Mataji before most of you came, and I said, how are you? And she said, I don't know where I am. She just visited Vrindavan and she's so much absorbed in the thoughts of Vrindavan. She's like, kahan aa gaye? Where I have come now? So this is the power of devotion, and you can feel it in your heart. You feel separated from devotees. You feel separation from Dham. You don't feel separation from your boss, isn't it? Unless you're a contractor. You have to go. Otherwise, you'll not get paid for it. But you really feel separation from devotees, from Dham. Oh, I haven't studied Prabhupada books for so many days. So slowly and slowly your attraction increases. In Bhagavatam 10.1, Shukadev Goswami is speaking with Parikshit Maharaj and again glorifying this devotion, the mood of devotional service. And Parikshit Maharaj is saying, by listening Krishna Katha, your arati towards Krishna Katha, arati means non-attachment for Krishna Katha goes away. Huh? So initially when you hear Krishna Katha, you feel like, oh, it's so long, it's 1 hour has passed, 45 minutes has passed, I have to do so many things. But slowly and slowly and slowly, you start getting the taste of Krishna Katha. And then even after 1 hour or 2 hours of class of, say, Lal Govind Prabhu, you feel like, are finished? Please give me more, please give me more. Amrendra Prabhu, when he speaks, you don't feel like where 1.5 hours is gone. Huh? There's so many, say, Madha Prabhu's Kirtan and so many nice devotees. When you sit with them, you feel like, are finish? Why? Abhi to start kiya tha. We just started. Why did you finish? Please carry on, carry on, carry on. So that happens in Kalena, in due course of time. Our interest in Krishna conscious activity increase and we start feeling that inner joy. It just happens and we all experience that. Maybe in a smaller quantity at this stage, you can imagine how much attraction Prabhupada felt for Krishna. He said, I can see Krishna as good as I see you. I can talk to Krishna as good as I talk to you. Huh? Prabhupada said, I just ask Krishna what he likes. Huh? So we imagine Prabhupada used to speak to Krishna. Prabhupada used to see Krishna. So he's completely in that mode, although he's living externally in this material world. Raghunath Das Goswami, he goes in the spiritual world, have a feast, and his stomach gets upset. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that. So he goes to the spiritual world. So Raghunath Das Goswami, just quickly, he used to take only one bowl full of chach, buttermilk every day. That was his meal for the day. Now we can take one bowl full of chach any time of the day. That doesn't give much fulfillment to our tummy. But Raghunath Das Goswami, he was so strict. And that also he will take the leaves from a particular tree, because that belongs to Srimati Radharani. He will not go to another tree whose leaves were bigger, because that belonged to Lalita Sakhi. So he will take this leaf. Now, even if you take a vow, something like that, you will choose the biggest leaf. Maybe take a banana leaf, because the banana leaf bowl will be bigger, and then you can have, big charge. So he will just take a bowl full. So one day he was lying in his room. He didn't come out of the room. Second day, he didn't come out of the room. So one of the devotees, he went inside the room and saw what happened to Raghunath Das. He hasn't come out since yesterday. He was concerned. So he went inside and he was quite sick. So he called a doctor, a Vaidya. And doctor checked his nubs, checked his pulse, and he said, he has indigestion. This devotee laughed at this doctor. Indigestion, Raghunath Das Goswami? Impossible. What does he take? He just take a little buttermilk every day. That's his meal. He cannot have indigestion. But Raghunath Das Goswami smiled and he said, actually, doctor is right. I actually had a big feast. And this devotee, you feast? Not possible. No. Actually, yesterday I went to the spiritual world. In my meditation, I had a big feast because the kheer was cooked by Srimati Radharani. How could I refuse? I ate a lot of kheer in the spiritual world. So they go to the spiritual world and their tummy gets indigestion in the material world. Can you imagine? Rupa Goswami, so many examples are given. He went to the spiritual world, did some pastime, and the impact is seen. Ramachandra, Narottam Das' friend, has a similar feeling. He found this earring of Srimati Radharani. So many examples we have in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Devotees go to the spiritual world, do something, and the impact is seen in the material world. So they live there. They live. Now we don't. But in due course of time, Kalin Atmani, we'll all experience that. Prabhupada said, at the end of the life, you can also see Krishna face to face. Prabhupada said that. Now Prabhupada cannot be wrong. At the end of the life, at the end of this life, only you can see Krishna face to face. So these examples are given in Shastra not just to theoretically understand, okay, some devotees 500 years ago were like that. No, they are here with us. These examples are live examples, and they are here to inspire all of us that Kalin Atmani Vindati. Will stop experiencing pleasure in outside thing and will start experiencing pleasure inside. And this is the permanent pleasure. No one can take from us. So very important, Kalin Atmani Vindati. Verse 39. Who hasn't read as yet? Rupam Prabhu has just joined.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Okay, so Shlok Prabhu, should I?
Yes.
Shraddhavalam vala labhate jananam.
Shraddhavan labhate jnanam.
Jnanam. Tatpara sanyatendriyaha.
Tatpara sanyatendriyaha.
Jnanam labdha param santim.
Jnanam labdha param shantim.
Achirena dhigachati.
Achirena dhigachati.
Translation: a faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Now let's go back to the previous verse. Just take a little context here. So what was the bottom line which we discussed in this verse? Kalen Atmani Vindati. So in due course of time, you will start enjoying within, right? So that now you can say a question asked by Arjuna, Baldev Vidyabhushan asked this question. Arjuna may ask the question to Krishna. So Krishna, what do you mean by in due course of time? After multiple lifetimes or after 100 years? Krishna says, Achirena Digachasi. The Chirena refers to very long time. Achirena refers to not a long time at all. Adhikachati means you will attain. You will attain. What you will attain, I'll discuss in a minute, very, very soon. So this knowledge will give you inner happiness very soon, very soon. Just Mother Prabhu comes into my mind because he's very live. So even a neophyte comes to temple, and I met one person coming for the first time or maybe very few times. He also enjoys Mother Prabhu's kirtan. Huh? He has no connection. He has no knowledge practically. He just came to temple for a visit. Oh, this is so nice. Huh? So you will feel the impact straight away. Straight away. Now, you may not sustain the effect. Obviously, for sustenance, you need to work on it, but you will feel the impact straight away. So, achirena gachati. Chir refers to long, like Brahmaji sometimes, chirayu bhav. Chirayu, long, may you live for long. So, achirena. Very soon you will attain. Now, Shraddha, now who will achieve this knowledge? We can say, oh, this knowledge is so nice. This is what we are reading here. But who will achieve the knowledge? So, verse 39 and 40, again, giving pros and cons. So verse 39 gives who has the Shraddha, who has the faith, what will be the destination of that person, and who doesn't have faith, what will be the destination of that person, will be given in verse 40. Now we read the similar thing in 38, 39, if I'm not wrong. So similar thing Krishna is compared. If you know the knowledge, what will happen? If you don't know the knowledge, what will happen? So here, Shraddha val labdhe jnanam. So who will achieve the jnana? Everyone can guess here. Shraddhaval. So one who has Shraddha, one who has faith. So initial faith is very, very important. So if you have that faith, you will achieve the Jnana. Now, if you don't have faith in Bhagavad Gita, will you ever start reading it? Now, some people obviously start reading because someone has said this book is of yoga. This book will bring happiness in your life. Book distributors say different things. So, but that sentence may have given a little Shraddha, a little faith of that book distributor or that devotee, and then people pick up Bhagavad Gita, for example, and then they start relishing. Wow, it's so nice. It's so nice. Once they start reading the book, they cannot come out of the book. Shraddha va labdhe jnanam. Tatparaha. What does tatparaha refers to? They are dedicated towards me. So they have Shraddha, they have faith, they are dedicated. Sanyatendriyaha, and their indriya, their senses are regulated. So this Sanyatendriya theme is repeated again and again in Bhagavad Gita. You have to regulate your senses. Irregulated senses cannot achieve the spiritual happiness. What to speak of spiritual happiness, even material happiness. Suppose if you are eating any nonsense any time of the day, will you be happy next morning? Maybe after 2 days or 3 days? No. Regularly, if you're eating junk food, burgers and chips and all that, you will feel some sort of weakness in your body. So even in the material realm, if your senses are unregulated in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, if you oversleep or undersleep, if you overeat or undereat and all those things, what you're eating is all rubbish, you will feel the result very, very soon. So similarly, for a spiritual life, Prabhupada says, sense gratification and spiritual life go ill together. Prabhupada said that. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj also said that. So if you're trying to gratify your senses most of the time and then trying to advance it spiritually, it just won't work. It won't work. So you have to sanyatendriya, you have to regulate your senses, be parayan to Krishna, and have some Shraddha, then you will achieve this jnana. And once you achieve the jnana, jnanam labdhva, what will be the result? Param Shanti. What does Param word refers to? Shanti, everyone knows. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We all talk about Shanti. We never get Shanti, but we talk about Shanti. We all want to become Shant, peaceful, but we don't get the peace. We are always agitated. At least in the mind, we are agitated. So what does Param Shanti here refers to? Okay, let's define the word Shanti first. What does Shanti refers to?
Peace.
Okay, anyone?
Peace, Prabhuji. Shanti is peace.
Shanti means peace. Yes. What sort of peace we talked about? Say in general.
So
peace
transcendental peace, Prabhuji.
Okay, that's a bigger word. So let's talk a normal Shanti word. Shanti means peace of mind.
Internal peace. Yeah.
Peace of mind. We all want to feel peace of mind. Our things should go on in a way where we feel harmonized with. When they go in another way, we feel agitated in our mind. So generally speaking, the peace of mind. Now, Bhagavad Gita is not talking about peace of mind. And you'll say, what? He's not talking about peace of mind? Yes, actually, Bhagavad Gita does not talk about peace of mind. If it was about peace of mind, then Arjun will not be told to fight a war, isn't it? Fighting a war is not about peace of mind. So Bhagavad Gita is talking about peace of heart. So what's the difference between peace of mind and peace of heart? So peace of mind is a normal shanti, which you talk about, where our environment is not too cold and not too hot. Now, I read some news today saying some wet weather is coming to Sydney for a week. So kids' holiday is starting and parents are always want to take them out, which is nice. But this wet weather, people are sick, kids are sick and all this. We don't like that. Some taps leaking in the house, you have to call a plumber, fix some floor and all that. Again, why does it happen? So all these things, if they go in a nice and a smooth way, we call it peace of mind. But peace of heart is something which Krishna is talking about as Param Shantim. So it's not just a Shanti of this word, peace of mind. Param Shanti. What does Para word mean? We have read it many times. Simple meaning of Para word. Anyone? Para and Apara. Apara Vidya, Para Vidya. So Para refers to
eternal. Beyond material world is para.
Spiritual.
Spiritual, eternal, beyond material world, that is para. And apara refers to lower. So apara dharma we have para dharma. So apara dharma refers to dharma refers to this body. So you may be a male or female, a householder or sannyasi. That's para. And apara, sorry, that's apara. And para refers to your eternal constitutional dharma, which is soul's connection with the super soul. So he's talking about Param Shanti, means eternal spiritual peace you will get. And that is called peace of heart. Now, peace of heart can be defined as, suppose a mother has, I was looking at Vaishnava, who just appeared for giving a glimpse, nice little cutie boy. So suppose when Vaishnava is making a lot of noise, the mama and papa may be agitated for a while. But imagine if Vaishnava doesn't make any noise for 1 hour, mama will be agitated or no? She will be agitated. Hey, ladka kuch bol kyun nahi raha hai? Why this boy is not speaking? Which is more better, when he makes noise or when he doesn't make noise? From the heart perspective, I'm talking. For externally, okay, you may be tired. Hey, Baba, why don't you go to bed now? I'm tired. That is something called peace of mind. But peace of heart is when your loved ones, for example, this is one example, are in connection with you. When you know about your parents' well-being, are you happy or not? When you don't know about your parents' well-being, suppose they are very far, you're actually not satisfied in your heart. But when you know, oh, they are happy, everything is well with them or with your other family members, you feel satisfied in your heart. So satisfaction of the heart is more important. Now, to get the satisfaction of the heart, you may have to work very hard. A mother may be awake whole night to take care of a small young kid. But if the kid is taken away from her, she's very agitated. No, I cannot give my kid away. Someone tells you, Mataji, I'll take your kid away. Just sleep. Nahi, Prabhuji, it's all right. I'm happy to see my kid with me rather than not having my kid. Okay, for 5-10 minutes, it's all right. But mothers can't stay away. At least when the kids are young. When they become old, then mother will say, why don't you go out with your friends? Give me my space. Anyway, just an example. So peace of heart is different than peace of mind. Peace of mind is when everything is going well and you're okay. But peace of heart is when you are internally satisfied. And one example is like your family is with you. Your family is all well together. The loving exchanges are happening in the family. That's called peace of heart. And for the peace of heart, you may have to work very, very hard. Prabhupada was working extremely hard. Arjun worked extremely hard. For what? Param Shantim, not for Apara Shanti. Not for Apara Shanti means no fight, no fight. And we'll see this word will confuse Arjuna in the beginning of 5th chapter. Okay? And when we will get this Param Shanti, Achirena, very, very soon. Okay, let's go to verse 40. This is sort of an opposite verse. Who will read that? Ujjwala Rasa Mataji or Akhand Rasa Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
440. Ajnanas Charasadhanas.
So Agyascha, is the true words, Prabhuji. Agyascha, Ashradhanascha. Ashradhana and Agyascha, there are 2 words. So Agyascha Ashradhanascha.
Ajnasya Ashradhanascha.
Agyascha Ashradhanascha.
Samasyatma Vinashati.
Shanshayatma Vinashati.
Nayam Lokosti Na Aparo.
Nayam Lokosti Na Aparo.
Na sukham sama satya
Samsayatmana.
samsayatmana.
Na sukham sanshayatmanaha.
But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So Krishna is giving the opposite of what he had given in 439. So three words are used here. Agyasya. Agyasya refers to, so one is called Jnani, one is called Agyani. So Jnani refers to, you can just make it up, ignorant. Jnani refers to knowledgeable person. So Agyasya refers to ignorant person. Ashraddhana. Ashraddhana refers to, very simple word, Shraddhan, Shraddhavan Labte Jnanam, the previous word. So here contrasting with Ashraddhana. So one who doesn't have Shraddha. So Agyani, Ashraddhalu. Third word, Shanshayatma. Shanshayatma refers to one who has doubts. So Krishna is giving three types of people in this verse. What are the three types? One is ignorant, one has no faith, and one who has doubt. What's the difference between these three? So Agyasya or ignorant, first one who has no knowledge at all. Second one, Ashradhana, he has knowledge but does not have Shraddha. Like many young kids in India or in West as well these days, they know our holy books like Bible or Bhagavad Gita. They don't have any Shraddha, they don't have any faith. Oh, these are the books for my grandmother, grandfather, not for me. I'm a modern person, isn't it? Many teenage boys and girls also say that. They don't have any Shraddha. Third category, Sanshayatma. Who is Sanshayatma? Who has knowledge, who has little faith, but who has Shanshay, doubts in that knowledge. I'm following Bhagavad Gita, but I have a doubt. Does Krishna really exist? Is Krishna really seeing me? Is my devotion getting counted in Krishna's diary? I'm working so hard for Radha Gopinath. Is he really noting it down that me, serving Krishna for last 6 hours? In the festival, I washed so many pots, or I did this seva and that seva. Is Krishna really noting it down? Will I really see Krishna after this life? The spiritual world really exists. These are called doubts. So what are the three types of people mentioned in the verse? Agyani, Ashradhalu, and Shanshayatma. These three people, what will be the result of it? Nayam lokosti na paro. So now this word is again used in the previous verse. I can't remember, 434. No, not 434, obviously. 430 something. You remember the 2-line verse was there. Someone probably can look into it. So similar thing is like, na I am loko. I am loko means is this loka. So while you are living, and the word there used was one who does not live in the mood of sacrifice. So one who does not live in the mood of sacrifice cannot get happiness in this world or in the next. Similarly, he's saying, if these people are there who does not have any Shraddha, doesn't have any faith, what will happen in this loka, in this world? Na aparo, na in another word. Sorry, it's para, not apara, it's para, in the next life. So in this life or in the next life, na sukham, they will not get any sukha, they will not get any happiness. So if you revert the verse, if you want to get happiness, you have to have Shraddha in this knowledge. And this knowledge is written in the scripture. So if you don't have Shraddha, if you don't have faith, this will not work. This will not give you sukha. So many pundits in India, many scholarly people in India, they may know whole Bhagavad Gita, they may know many scriptures by tongue, but in their heart, they are still not convinced about it. Anyone remembers a big example, a very famous example? Everyone knows that. Intellectually very smart, but in the heart, he doesn't believe. Brahman and cobbler pastime. Isn't it? Everyone knows this. Brahman was very knowledgeable. He was quoting shlokas left, right, and center. Very knowledgeable person. But in the heart, did he have faith in Krishna? What does Narad Muni said? When he asked to Narad Muni what Narayan was doing. So Narayan was passing an elephant through the eye of a needle. That's what Narad Muni said. As soon as he said that, what did Brahman do? Oh, you bluffer. Did you really go to the spiritual world? How can someone pass an elephant through the eye of a needle? And this Brahman had no Shraddha in the words of Narad Muni. He had no faith what a Narayan can do. When the same thing was spoken to cobbler, what was the response of cobbler? Anyone? Jamati Mataji? Same words were spoken to cobbler.
Yeah, he said that God can do anything. I mean,
God can do anything. Fantastic. Look at my Lord. He's so sweet. And then Narad Muni said, do you really believe me? Narad Muni was testing, same as Dhruva. He was testing Dhruva. Do you really want to get out? He said, no, you go back to home. People say some words. It's all right. You go and play with the toys. You want half kingdom? I'll get you half kingdom. Narad Muni was testing. So what was the response of Narad Muni to the cobbler after his test? Jamati Mataji? Do you really believe in my words? What was the response?
I think he said yes.
Of course, of course. Everybody said, how come? And what's the example this cobbler gives?
Banyan tree.
Banyan tree. I'm sitting under this banyan tree. Look at these fruits. They're very like red color fruits of banyan tree. And said, in these fruits, there are hundreds of seeds, and each seed has a big banyan tree inside it. So if the Lord can put such a big banyan tree inside a small seed, why can't he thread an elephant through eye of a needle? And Narad Muni was shocked, and he understood this guy is going to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. So this is all about Shraddha. It's not just intellect. Now, intellect may be a starting point. That's all right. We started in the book that's not the end point. Just as Radhanath Maharaj said, when the Yamaraj comes, you cannot show him your Bhakti Shastri degree. Mr. Yamaraj, look at my Bhakti Shastri degree. How come you are at my door? You should be going to the prostitute's house. And Yamaraj or Yamdutas will say, no. Our iPad is saying we are at the right address. We are at the right. You may have Bhakti Shastri degree, but your heart has not changed as yet. So you still have to go and, pay your bills. It may happen. Anyway, anyone in Prabhupada movements, I'm sure it will not happen because Prabhupada is a very pure Acharya. He will protect. Obviously, it doesn't mean we do the nonsense, but Prabhupada is very, very kind. And through his books, through his knowledge, he's constantly putting our consciousness on the right track. That's why we should always make full, sincere attempt every day, at least 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes, we should read Prabhupada books or Prabhupada lecture. By just listening or reading his lectures, our consciousness will be on the right track, We'll never go off track. So as soon as we go off track, Prabhupada will beat you up with his words. And then at the end of this life, you have no opportunity to take darshan of Yamadutas. It's just not possible. Okay, 441. Ujjwala Samataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam. Jnana Sanchina Samshayam. Atmavantam na karmani. Nibadhanti Dhananjaya. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of the work, O conqueror of riches.
Thank you, Mataji. So, yoga sanyasta karmanam. So, word yoga, Prabhupada, look at Prabhupada's translation here. Yoga refers to by devotional service in karma yoga. So, yoga sanyasta. So, yoga word should not be just translated as connection. He's saying working in devotional service. And Prabhupada writes in the translation, one who acts in devotional service. Now, sannyasa karmanam, so renouncing the fruits, sannyasa refers to renounce, so renouncing the fruits of his action. Jnana sanchina sanchayam, sanchaya refers to the doubts which we were talking in the previous verse. Jnana sanchinna refers to, cut off your doubts with what? Jnana. So with jnana, you should cut off your doubts. You should not have any doubts. If you have doubts, I remember Bhakti Charu Maharaj was giving a class in Sydney Temple many, many years ago. And he said, if there is a question, there is an answer. Now, we may not know the answer. That's different, right? We don't know everything, but there's all Shastra has given the answer already. So we should have that faith. Now, how to find and how to achieve that jnana, that may be a different detailed question, but Shastra has the answer. So if you have a question, answer is given in Shastra. So if you just search for the right question with the right mood, with the right authority, all your doubts will be clarified. Sometimes people have this doubt, when did Jiva come? How did Jiva fall? This and that. All these doubts will be cleared. Now, when they will be cleared, that's another question. So one example is given. Now, a boy going to year 3 or year 4, for example, cannot understand the mathematics taught in a postgrad level, right? So he cannot say, oh, my doubts are not clear, so mathematics is wrong, these formulas are wrong. No, you can't say that. Unless you reach to a stage where you are able to understand all the jnana, we have to pass through all these stages. So many times we don't understand something, so we should not blame the answer is not correct. What we should understand, we are not able to accept this knowledge at this stage. Once we become more mature, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. Divya Gyan will be given, transcendental knowledge will be given in your heart. I think last week we were talking about Upamanyu, isn't it? What was the blessing given to Upamanyu by Dhaumya Rishi? I think Kanika Mataji found out in Google. Anyone remembers? Can you speak, Prabhuji, a little louder?
Shastras will be revealing in his heart.
All the Shastric knowledge will be revealed in your heart without reading it. He said that, without reading it. Everything will be revealed in your heart. So Shastra knowledge is not just which we read. Obviously, we read and we gain something. But the spiritual master reveals the conclusion in the heart. Prabhupada title was Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. So Bhakti Veda Anta. So what is the Vedanta? What's the conclusion of the Vedas? Is Bhakti. And that Bhakti is given by Srila Prabhupada. So this is very important. With the Gyan, we should chinna, we should cut off all your doubts. And Atmantam na karmani. So in this person who is situated on a spiritual platform, na karmani nibdhanti. So even if you perform many actions, na nibdhanti, he will not be bound. Dhananjaya. Why the Dhananjaya word is used here? What's the meaning of Dhananjaya? Dhananjaya. So it refers to obviously Arjun, who has conqueror of the wealth. So we should be also the conqueror of the wealth. What sort of wealth we are talking? Dollars or rupees or some Malaysian Thai coins? Thank you, Prabhuji. Spiritual knowledge. So we should also conquer this spiritual knowledge. So get a lot of knowledge. No, he's not talking about, again, intellectual scholarly knowledge. With this real knowledge, or realized knowledge, all our doubts will be clarified. And even if we are the most sinful, we can cross over with the help of this boat of spiritual knowledge. Now let's come to the last verse. Who will read the last verse of this chapter? Who hasn't read as yet? Vinay Prabhu, you have read?
No, Prabhuji, I can read now.
Please.
Very well.
Hare Krishna.
Tasmat Ajnana Sambhutam.
Tasmat Ajnana Sambhutam.
Hritastam Jnana Yasina Atmanaha.
Hritastam Jnana Sinatmanaha.
Chittainam Sanshayam Jogam.
Chittainam Sanshayam Yogam.
Atishta Uttishta Bharata.
Istotishta Bharata.
Therefore, the doubt which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge, armed with yoga. O Bharata, stand and fight. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So Tasma, therefore, so now Krishna has, spoken 41 verses in this chapter in a row. So he's saying, therefore, Ajnana Sambhutam. So Sambhutam, it's a very nice word. We'll read that in Ishopanishad as well. So Sambhuti, Asambhuti. So Sambhutam refers to basically permanent, and Sambhuti refers to non-permanent. So Ajnana Sambhutam, Sambhutam also refers to Janma, born. So it's saying Ajnan. So the knowledge, I should say, ignorance, which is born in your heart, you should cut off. Here this thumb, whatever the ignorance you have in your heart. So asina refers to sword. Jnana asina refers to the sword of knowledge. So whatever ignorance you have in your heart, cut them off. How do you cut them off? With the sword of knowledge. Because Arjuna is Kshatriya, he knows to cut them off very nicely. He has a sword. But now which sword Krishna is saying? Gyan Asina. So Gyan Asina refers to sword of knowledge. You should cut off. So who is our enemy here? Ajnana. Ignorance is our enemy. And what's the weapon we have? What's Asina? Asina refers to what weapon we have? Jnana Asina. So we have weapon of knowledge, and our enemy is our ignorance. Where the enemy is residing, not in the battlefield outside, is residing in our heart. So we have to look inside our heart, look at which is the enemy, our Ajnan, which is causing all this illusion to us, and we should take the sword of knowledge and cut it off, because many times it's doubts. Many devotees leave Krishna consciousness because of doubts. They don't study the scriptures, they don't seek out the answers, and they leave because their faith was very, very weak. We'll read about them in NOI and as well as in NOD as well. So we should cut them off. So as soon as you have doubts, we should try to cut them off. We should seek. We should go to a devotee to try to find the answer. If that devotee doesn't know, that's all right. We should find another devotee. Now, some doubts we can remove it immediately. Sometimes we have to put them in a parking lot. And I gave this example of sometimes, you are in year 3 and 4, you may not be able to understand very big mathematics right now. So instead of ignoring mathematics, what you should do, put it in a parking lot. I have to pass some initial exams, then I'll be able to understand more concepts. So spirituality is the same thing. Sometimes people don't understand, Krishna's Ras Lila pastime. They're constantly after that question. Now, obviously there are answers, but Prabhupada went to some family in India, invited Prabhupada. So Prabhupada obviously very humbly asked, so how can I serve you? Huh? So it's a family said, Prabhupada, I want to hear Krishna's Ras Lila pastime. Prabhupada said, no, maybe we can choose some other topic and I can say something. No, Prabhupada, I want to hear about Ras Lila. So Prabhupada again humbly requested the host that maybe we can choose some other topic to talk about this evening. This host was very insisting on hearing the Ras Lila pastime. So Prabhupada finally said, you may be eligible to hear about Krishna's Ras Lila pastime. I'm not eligible to speak about Krishna's Ras Lila pastime. Now Prabhupada obviously is more than eligible, but what he could see, this person is not eligible to hear about Krishna's Ras Lila pastime. So when Prabhupada disciple was asking Prabhupada, how do we understand there's 10 billion gopis dancing with Krishna in the Ras Lila night? 10 billion people doesn't even exist in this globe. How do we convince others about this sort of topics when Krishna is dancing with 10 billion gopis? That's what Jiva Goswami explains. There's around 10 billion gopis. So Prabhupada said to his disciple, he said, is that the only topic you have to discuss to outsiders? Why you have to convince them about this topic? So Prabhupada said, you should not read those 5 chapters of Bhagavatam, 1028 to 1032. Why does he say that we are allowed to read Gopi Geet, but not 5 chapters? Why? We are not eligible. It's a part of Bhagavatam. Our knowledge culminates, it says in Padma Purana, those 5 chapters, Panchadhyaya is the smile of Krishna. Why we are not reading, not those prohibited chapters? They are prohibited because we are not eligible to understand those high-level concepts. Acharyas are reading, they are making commentaries on that, but we are not eligible. Krishna said, you read Krishna book, for example. You read Krishna book, and he said even a neophyte can read Krishna book. But for a devotee who's really serious, he said, you should not read. So not reading is like you tell your child, beta, don't go into those fields, because he's only 5-year-old. Now, if he goes, he will hurt himself. So our hurting himself is, we'll have more doubts. So our spiritual creeper, which is very, very soft, very small at this stage, may not be able to understand those high concepts. So we stay away. So this is called putting your doubts in a parking lot for some time. And some doubts should be clarified straight away. We understand the difference. There are 2 types of doubts. So some doubts we can immediately cut them off with the knowledge. Some doubts will say, okay, I'm not able to understand, but I will understand later. Because this is what our acharyas are telling, and we should wait for that maturity to come in our devotional attitude to be able to understand. Don't say, oh, you're not able to explain properly. Maybe this person is explaining properly, we're not able to understand properly because our mindset is still contaminated. As the contamination goes away, then we'll start understanding many more concepts, spiritual concepts. Automatically, it will just happen. So, final conclusion of this chapter with Krishna, Atisto Tishta Bharata. So, Tasma, therefore, Krishna explained all this knowledge and saying, cut off your doubts, don't go into illusion again. Atisto Tishta Bharata, stand and fight. Okay, so this sort of Krishna concludes the 4th chapter here. Now, stand and fight will cause some confusion in the mind of Arjuna, because in the previous 440 he was talking about Param Shanti, Achirenadi Gachati, right? He was talking about Shanti. Now in this 4th chapter, practically he has not made even one reference to fight. He's talking about Shanti, he's talking about knowledge. So generally, how do we interpret knowledge? So we gain some knowledge and we get Shanti, right? This is what we interpret. Now what Shanti, Krishna was talking about Param Shanti, as I said, is a Shanti of the heart, not Shanti of the mind. But Arjun misunderstood this as Shanti of the mind. He's saying, how come, Krishna, you're saying stand and fight? So Arjun's doubt is still not clear. And that will lead to his questions in 5th chapter. Now let's give a little pause here. If any devotees have any points to say or ask, we'll take that and then we'll move to the 5th chapter. Everyone happy and satisfied? That's very good. Okay, no more questions? All good? So Arjun,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have
Hare Krishna,
one
Mataji.
question.
Yes.
So, Prabhuji, in the previous verse, when we were discussing about Narayana, and you mentioned about the word Na, how powerful it is. So, I wanted to understand, like, you give an example of Ajamil, but he wanted to say Narayana at the end of his life, He meant to say Narayana. So, if Na word is spoken in terms of, calling out the name of the Lord, only then this is powerful, or even for any other thing as well, like if now word would have the same impact.
Yes. Okay. Who can tell the example? Rupam Prabhu is nodding the head. We discussed some other words last week.
Yeah. Rajma?
Rajma. Everyone knows Rajma. What benefit do you get of speaking Rajma? You can tell Jagati Mataji. Huh?
Ram?
Ram. So even if you say Rajma, you get the benefit of speaking word Ram, Raj Maharshi. And someone else also said one more thing, I can't remember.
Hari Mirch.
Hari Mirch, thank you. Hari Mirch, green chili. You say Hari, Hari. So Sonia Mataji, on external level, the answer is, even if you spoken the Lord's name, which is a letter here in this word, letter in that, you still get the benefit, Mataji. You still get the benefit. Now, how much will be the benefit? That will be dependent on our consciousness by which we are taking the name. So the power, Chaitanya Prabhu gives an example. Suppose we have a gun in our hand, a real gun, for example, not a toy gun, or say a thing which looks like a gun. Just start from there, okay? So if that gun has a real bullet and I shoot a person, will the person die, for example? If it's a real bullet, yes, that's the job of the gun. Otherwise, the gun is not it's a toy gun, So a person will die if I shoot with a real bullet. But suppose if I use the same gun with a plastic bullet, a very foam bullet. Let's take a foam bullet. Some boys have this toy gun with a foam bullet and they shoot with the target. Will the person die if I shoot that person with the real gun, but will have a foam bullet in it? Will the person die? Whom I shoot?
Depends
No?
on
Yes or no? You sure? Why? The potency of the bullet isn't there. The gun is real. Gun is real. The potency isn't there. So similarly, when we call out the name of Krishna with distracted mindset, when we are not paying attention to the word Krishna or Ram, this is like throwing the bullet from the gun which has no potency. Paper bullet, foam bullet. It's not going to kill. And who's going to get killed here? Our anarthas. So we have Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar. So we have to shoot them with the bullet of the holy name, Ram, Krishna. But suppose we are distracted. Our anarthas are clapping their hands. Thank you. You're not shooting at us. Actually, you're looking here and there. You're looking here and there. So we are shooting constantly when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but we are shooting in a different direction, or we are shooting with the paper bullets on these Kam, Krodh, Lobh. So what we have to do, we have to concentrate, focus on the holy name. So the potency of the holy name comes in it with our attentiveness, and then we shoot, we say. Our saying is like shooting on the anarthas, and then they will get killed. Then they will get killed. And the effect will be very fast, very, very fast. Prabhupada asked, so how long will it take to realize Krishna? Prabhupada says, 1 chant, 1 minute, 1 minute. You can be fully Krishna conscious. But that 1 chant, 1 moment, the surrender has to be real surrender. Vibhishan did surrender to Lord Ram, the real surrender. Now, we all bow down to our deities every day, isn't it? Every day. How many of us have reached to that stage? I'm not too sure. Not too sure. Maybe some of you, I am not. Because our bowing down, the quality of bowing down isn't there. Not that it's wrong, We are like a children, we are learning some things and we are getting disciplined slowly. Our spiritual master is trying to, bind us within the boundary of these regulations. But the more we come inside sooner, the more with the quality, the more action will be done sooner. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. Nice question. Anyone else has inquiry about 4th chapter? That was the last question. Rasanand Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, just looking in this verse 35, now it says that, you obtain real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion.
Yes.
But, we are trying to get knowledge from various, doing Bhakti Shastri, hearing to lectures, so many things. But every time I'm under illusion.
Yes. So, Prabhuji,
so how to overcome that, Prabhu?
Yes. Prabhuji is very, very humble. He is saying, I'm receiving all this knowledge and listening lectures, reading Prabhupada, those were still in illusion. Prabhuji, just because you said you are in illusion, that represent you're not in so much illusion. If you ask a karmi, Prabhu, you are humble. If you ask a karmi, sir, you're not doing the right thing with your life, he will slap you. You telling me I am so I'm a Brahman boy, I'm from this place of India, my father is that and grandfather is that, and you cannot even tell a person. I give this example which is sort of a little embarrassing, but I'll give you that. On book distribution on Manly Beach, so I approached a lady with some Chant and Be Happy or some other book, some small book in my hand, and I said, take this book and you'll be happy. And she said, I'm happy. I'm happy. She was enjoying with her friends in some restaurant, eating some nonsense, drinking and all that. And I'm very new in book distribution. I'm still. So I could not say, to be very honest. I went on with Harina party and I thought, I'll also try book distribution. She said, I'm happy. Nothing else will make me happy. And she was having this, meat and other things. So first thing first, these other people who don't even realize they're not happy, they don't even realize they're not illusion. So devotees at least realize, and that realization has come from this knowledge that actually I'm not doing the right thing. I haven't done the right thing. I want to do the right thing. Now, you may not be able to experience the highest bliss today, which is correct. As I said, in Kalen Atmani Vindati, it takes due course of time. Suppose, Prabhuji, you have a little bud, a rosebud, for example, in a plant, for example. Now you want this rosebud to blossom tomorrow for Krishna's offering, right? The rosebud is very, very small. Suppose instead of putting 50 ml of water in the rose plant, you put 5 liters of water, expecting the rosebud will blossom tomorrow. Will it happen? Just by over watering the bud will take its own time. It takes 5 days or 7 days, whatever it takes, it will take its time. So similarly, all of us are on a different level of consciousness. We have all a different baggage on our head at the moment, many action reaction going on, and we have to deal with all of them. And on that account, we have to develop our Krishna consciousness. So it takes its own time. It takes our own time. Now, spiritual master is trying to give us mercy as well, but many people are in different stage receiving the mercy. Many Prabhupada disciples became big Maharaj, for example. Many of them left Prabhupada and the movement as well. It was same Prabhupada, it was same Bhagavad Gita. Why did it happen? Because of their old baggage. So it will happen eventually. It says anyone who has joined the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is sure to go back to Godhead. I've heard this in a lecture. Anyone who has joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu movement, I'm repeating again, very hopeful, will surely go back to Godhead. So all of us, based on the statement of the sannyasi, I'm saying all of us are going to go back to Godhead. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Huh? Someone will go back to Godhead in this lifetime, someone in many lifetimes, and someone will take many, many lifetimes. So we all are there. We all are there. But it's just a matter of when. So 2 answers for when. We should not immaturely try to overdevelop. Immaturely means we're trying to develop. Tomorrow I want to become a pure devotee. Practically, technically it's possible. Practically, it may not be possible. You have to deal with so many situations in your life. You can't avoid it. And that's what we are reading Bhagavad Gita. Within the situation, you have to develop your consciousness. Bhagavad Gita is not about leaving the world. It's about living the world. So we live in a world in a pure way. not that leave the world and think we will live in a pure way. In 5th canto, Brahmaji's conversation is given nice story. I'll just cut short. Priyavrat Maharaj, who's a brahmachari, is a Narad Muni's disciple. Uttanpad, his elder brother, when Uttanpad was sort of, his dynasty was finished. So Priyavrat Maharaj was in jungle, meditating, doing tapasya. So Manu Maharaj, the father of Uttanpad and Priyavrat, he came to Priyavrat. He said, there is no king in the world. You have to come and take the throne. And Priyavrat says, I have taken Brahmachari Vrata. I can't go. I don't want to become a king and get entangled. So Manu Maharaj could not convince. Then that Narad Muni was also there. And Narad Muni and Manu Maharaj both are Mahajan. If you read 12 Mahajans, Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, 2 Mahajans are giving 2 different instructions to one disciple. Narad Muni is a Mahajan saying, take Brahmachari Vrata, don't get involved in the world. Manu Maharaj, another Mahajan, saying to Priya, become a king. Brahmaji comes, the 3rd Mahajan. He gives a different instruction. So look at these authorities giving different knowledge to a same person. So Brahmaji says a very beautiful sentence. So it's one shloka, which I don't remember, but he says, dear Priyavrat, you should listen to your superiors. And he said, which superior I should listen to, Manu Maharaj or my spiritual master, Narad Muni? Narad Muni is saying, don't go to the material world and get entangled. Manu is saying, go there. So Brahmaji said, anyone in the material world already have 6 wives. Brahmaji said that, 6 wives? I don't have a wife, I'm a brahmachari. He said, no, you have 5 senses with the mind. Mind is the 6th one. He says, everyone living with the 6 wives, no matter you live in a jungle or in a city. So you can be without the wives, even in the jungle or in the city. Or you can be with the wives in the jungle. So in the jungle also you can contemplate on sense gratification, for example. So you are in jungle, it doesn't mean your mind is in jungle. You may be thinking about money and other sensual pleasures in the jungle. So Brahma is saying it's not a matter of where you live, it's a matter of how you live. So then Priyavrat was convinced. When he came back, he took the throne, he got married as well, and he had many beautiful devotee children. So it will happen. It will happen. So when we should not immaturely do it, and maturely when we become a devotee, a real devotee, then it will not matter where are we living, how are we living, which species we are in. We are a crow species like Kak Bhushundi, we are a Garud, we are a human. Kak Bhushundi was given by Lord Ram. Lord Ram said to Kak Bhushundi when he was very happy, he said, I can make you a demigod, I can send you back to Godhead, I can make you anything. You are in a crow body, must be very painful. And Kak Bhushundi said, actually, my dear Lord, I'm fine. I don't need to change the body. I'm just fine. And even today, Kak Bhushundi is speaking about Ram Katha. So, Prabhuji, the short answer is, it will happen. You start realizing it, you have joined the movement, you're doing the right things, you're progressing, and slowly, we will get completely aligned to that goal. Okay?
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone else wanted to say something? Okay, I think everyone is fully satisfied. Let's move to the 5th chapter. As usual, I'll just do a quick summary of the chapter in this PDF file. Now, 5th chapter name. Let's talk about the name first. Let's talk about the 3rd chapter name. What's the 3rd chapter name? Jayaprakash, no, Prabhu knows all the Sanskrit names at tongue. 3rd chapter, simple one.
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga, thank you. 4th chapter. Who will say 4th chapter? Anyone? Sanskrit name, 4th chapter.
Gyan Karma Sannyas Yoga.
Gyan Karma Sannyas Yoga. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, and what's the 5th chapter name? Now you already said it actually. Take the Gyan out, Karma Sannyas Yoga. So Karma Yoga, 3rd chapter, 5th chapter is Karma Sannyas Yoga, and the 4th chapter is Gyan Karma Sannyas Yoga. So now you can say the 3rd chapter in the 4th chapter, and Prabhupada writes 3rd chapter name, just look at it here, Karma Yoga, Prabhupada writes exactly same name. So chapter 3 is Karma Yoga. Chapter 5, here is Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So they look similar in Sanskrit or in English, right? So what's the difference between chapter 3 and chapter 5? So it says many themes are repeated in Bhagavad Gita. So first time when Krishna takes a theme, he explains the concept, and when he next time takes the theme, he goes deeper into the concept. So 3rd chapter, the theory which we have read about Karma Yoga, Krishna will tell how to live that theory in our current life in chapter 5. Now the same thing will be repeated in chapter 7 and chapter 9. Chapter 7 will talk about the Opulence of the Absolute, if I'm not wrong. Let's read it. Anyway, so 7th chapter is about Bhakti Yoga. 9th is also about Bhakti Yoga, the most confidential knowledge. Yes, the knowledge about the Absolute. Yeah, 7th chapter is the knowledge about the Absolute, and the 9th chapter is called the most confidential knowledge. So both chapter talks about Bhakti, but the concepts explained in 7th will be further elaborated in chapter 9. So similar thing happening in 3 and 5. So 5 is Karma Yoga actions. Now, Krishna will talk about the practical application of how to live in that Karma Yoga in chapter number 5. Now, it has 5 sections, as you can see on the screen. So, Karma Yoga is equal to but easier than renouncing. That's verses 1 to 6. Then, description of a Nishkam Karma Yogi or a Jnani, which is 7 to 12. Then we have relationship between Ishwar, Jiva, and Prakriti. We'll talk about these 3 doers, which we have read, if you remember, 327. Pratyek Kriyamarani Gunahi Karmani Sarvasha Ankar Vimurnatma Karta Aham Iti Manite. So 3 doers we'll talk in 13 to 16. Then vision of a Jnani. This is very, very important section actually, 17 to 26. This is like a heart of this chapter. And then introduction to Dhyana Yoga and peace formula. So verse 27 and 28 will talk about Dhyana Yoga, which will be elaborated in chapter 6. And verse 29 of 5th chapter will talk about Bhakti Yoga, which will be elaborated in 6 chapters. So 29 is the seed of chapter 7 to 12. We'll talk about the relation between 529 and chapter 7 onwards. And 27, 28 are the seed for chapter 6, which is Dhyana Yoga. So let's start from the first section, which is Karma Yoga, equal to but easier than renouncing the work, which is what Krishna has been trying to explain. So don't renounce the action, rather renounce the consciousness, renounce the attachment while doing the action. Okay, so let's start chapter 5. Okay, 5.1. So again, it's starting from Arjuna's question, which is again similar to 3rd chapter. I think I've opened it. So 3rd chapter, Arjun initially asked, Jaisi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam Niyo Jasi Keshava. And the second one was again a continuation of Arjuna's question. Vyami Shrene Vakyene Buddhi Mohyasi Me Tadekam Vad Nishyata Yena Shreyo Aham Apnu Yam. So 5th chapter, again, a similar question Arjun is asking. Who hasn't read as yet? Sabne pad liya? Kanika Mataji, maybe you have not read the verse. I may be wrong.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Arjuna Vacha.
Arjuna Vacha.
Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna.
Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna.
Punaryogam cha shamchashi.
Punaryogam cha shamchashi.
Yatshreya itayorekam.
Yatshreya itayorekam.
Tanme bruhi sunishtitam.
Tanme bruhi sunishtitam.
Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?
Thank you, Mataji. So again, Arjun is confused. He's saying, Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna. So you're talking about Karma Sannyas. Now, Arjun is sort of not understanding it. He's saying renouncing the work, right? Just take a literal meaning here. Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna. Krishna, you said renounce the work, renounce the activity, karma. Punar, again, yogam chashanshashi. So then you are recommending yoga. Now, yoga here again, Prabhupada translates as devotional service. So first you talking about renouncing the activity, then you're talking about acting devotional way. Yat shreya etayor ekam. Ekam refers to eka. Bhai, tell me one thing. And which one thing you should tell me? Shreya. Now, shreya word is used again and again. You see in 5.1, shreya is used. 3.2, Tad ekam. So here also he's saying Tad ekam vad nishyata. Bhai, nishchit kar lo. You define eka, one thing. Yena shreyo aham apnuyam. So the word shreya is used. Also, shreya is used in 2.7. If you remember, 2.7. Yat shreya shya nishitam bruhi tanme. So please tell me my shreya. So Arjun constantly asking about shreya, shreya, shreya. What does shreya mean? Everyone know by now?
Long-term benefit.
Thank you. And which long-term business benefit we are talking? Long-term business benefit?
It is eternal benefit in
Prabhuji.
terms of spiritual knowledge.
Thank you.
And
Yeah. So long-term eternal benefit. This is what Arjun is after. He's not after prayer. What is prayer for Arjun at the moment? Go to jungle. Immediately, that's what he's thinking. If I go to jungle, become a sannyasi or a beggar, I'll be happy. But is asking. So this is very good quality of Arjuna. He's asking his spiritual master about Shreya, Shreya, Shreya. We should also ask our spiritual master about Shreya, not prayer. Many times we ask about questions which are related to prayer. Immediate attention. Now that is all details, long-term benefits. So Arjun, although he's illusioned, but look at his consciousness. Very nicely, he's asking about Shreya. So 5.1, again, he's asking what? Yet Shreya, etayor ekam. So please tell me one thing which is Shreya, long-term benefit for me. Tanme bruhi sunishitam. So again, sunishitam word is used here. Syan nishitam word used here. And nishchitya word used here. So again, nishchitya. So saying, oh my Lord, you define one thing and tell me that one thing. Now, what's that one thing? Let's read 5.2. Look at the mood of Arjun. Very nice. Huh? Is Vijaya Mataji there? I haven't seen, but Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry, I couldn't see you earlier. Would you like to read 5.2?
sorry.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan
Uvacha
Sannyasa Karma Yogascha
Sannyasa Karma Yogascha
Nishreyasa Karavo Ubhau
Nishreyasa Karavo
Tayostu Karma Sannyasa
Tayostu Karma Sannyasa
Karma Yogo Vishishyate.
Karma Yogo Vishishyate.
The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than the renunciation of work.
Thank you, Mataji. Your rhythm is so nice, Mataji. Maybe you got very good training in reading the verses. It's very good. We should all have that. We should sing the verses, not read the verses. So it's so beautiful.
All glories to Viraj Prabhu, Prabhuji.
All glories to Viraj Prabhu. They're not literally all glories to Viraj Prabhu.
Viraj Prabhu's Maharaj, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj always said that when you sing, when you're reading Bhagavad Gita, you're actually singing the song of the Lord. So you should sing, not that read.
Yeah.
So that actually made an impact. So that's how Prabhuji taught. So it's all glories to him. Thank you.
Thank you. It's very nice. And when we read in a very poetic way, we feel satisfied, and others who are listening, they also feel very uplifted just by listening. So it's very nice, and we should try, all of us, including me, to sing these verses. Okay, so Shri Bhagavan Vacha, he's responding the Arjuna's question. What was the question of Arjuna? First, you said sannyas of karma, and then you are punar yogam chashashi. So then you are recommending about yoga, work in devotion, which is better? So this is the question of Arjun. Let's see the response of Krishna. Sannyasa karma yoga sha. So sannyasa karma. So karma yoga, Prabhupada writes here, work in devotions. Very clear. So we should always read this Prabhupada translation, because this is where confusion may arise. So Prabhupada writes karma yoga refers to work in devotion. Very, very simple. Huh? Previous verse, Prabhupada writes, I'll just repeat again, because it's important for us to know these words. 5.1, the word yoga was used by Arjun. Punar yogam chashanshasi. So yoga, Prabhupada says, as devotional service. Okay, so when we get these words, we should get the reference right. Otherwise, we'll get the meaning wrong. So 5.2, Prabhupada writes, the renunciation of work. Karma sannyasa, so the two words are used here. Karma sannyas, same word, which is asked by Arjun. So sannyasa of karma, same thing Krishna is saying, karma sannyasa. So karma sannyasa refers to inactivity, renouncing the activity itself. Okay, sannyas, renouncing the activity. And sannyasa karma yoga, so karma yoga refers to acting in devotional mindset. So two things are there. So sannyasa karma yoga, so acting in devotion versus karma sannyasa. There are two things. Nihisreyas kara ubhav. So both of them are good for liberation. Both will lead the ultimate goal of liberation. But tayostu, out of those two, karma sannyasa, Vishishyate risk means better. So Krishna is saying both of them will ultimately lead to liberation. But out of those two, which Krishna is recommending, karma sannyasa. That means not renouncing the work, but renouncing in work. We read this terminology, not karma se sannyas, karma me sannyas. So renounce the mode of renouncement in your mind while doing the activity. So you should perform your work in a detached way. Now, how does it work? Krishna will expand it further. Now, Prabhupada has written, I was reading this purport, actually, beautiful purport. I can go on, but Prabhupada basically is saying, this Rishabh Dev teaching, very popular verses 5.5.4 saying, Nunam pramata kurte vikarma yad indriya priti apnoti. So basically, don't get bound in the material world. You should work in a detached spirit, in a Krishna conscious way. Otherwise, you'll get bound. Please read this purport if you haven't read it. Beautiful purport. The whole purport is a little bit long, but very nice. Okay, 5.3. Who will go? Kanika Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, just a quick question.
Yes.
Iska jo translation hai, Prabhu, like, you know how you were saying ki karma se sannyas, but it's basically written work in devotion. Yes. So how is it different to Prabhu what we'll read in Bhakti Yoga then? Like
I said karma se sannyas nahi lena, karma me sannyas lena hai.
Sorry, like you said karma me sannyas, not karma se sannyas, but here it's written like work in devotion.
Yeah. So you work
directly talking about devotional service here in a way. So how is it going to be different, Prabhu, to what we'll read in Bhakti Yoga chapters, like the upcoming, like, you know, how is this different?
Okay, so Mataji, so two things I have to mention here. So Prabhupada has given, as Chaitanya Prabhu says, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita throughout Bhagavad Gita. So what we are going to read in future chapters, as you correctly mentioned here in Bhakti Yoga chapters, where it will be talked about work and devotion, how it's different. So in the Karma Yoga section, initially, in the initial stages, if you just take the technical translation, the person who is in Karma Yoga may not be aware of the position of Krishna as good as the person who is aware in the Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, the person knows exactly what's the position of Krishna, what's the position of me, and what's my relationship, what's my goal. But in Karma Yoga, he's still doing the Karma Yoga. Yoga means connection. So he's connecting with the divine, definitely. So he's in a higher mode, very, very high mode. He's not a Karmi, he's a Karma Yogi. He's dedicating his actions. But he is not fully aware of the nature of that divine, what's the relationship, and how I will ultimately achieve the ultimate happiness. He's not. But he is still doing Karma Yoga. As we read, two benefits are there for the sacrifice: purification and liberation. So that's the difference, technical difference. But what Prabhupada is giving here, what is going to come further in Bhagavad Gita, throughout Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada has many times translated this yoga or Karma Yoga as work in devotion. So it's a technical difference, but this is what Prabhupada has given. Okay, very nice question actually. This technicalities also we should know, so that we can appreciate actually how Prabhupada has given this beautiful purports. Now the Karma Yoga, just adding one point, Kanika Mataji, Karma Yoga will eventually, should eventually lead to Bhakti Yoga. So you're working for the divine, then you should know. Like you're working for your father, then you should know what your father likes. Now you're cooking a sabji for your father, but your father hates Arabi ka sabji. So although you're trying to help your father, you're trying to please you don't know how to please your father. So the intention is very nice, but the activity which you have performed, your father said, "Beta, thank you so much for cooking prashadam, but I can't digest it. Can you cook some lauki ka sabji for me?" Something like that. So that's the difference between Karma Yogi and the Bhakti Yogi. Bhakti Yogi know exactly how to please Krishna. And then whatever Krishna gives, he's happy with that. Okay, 5.3. Maybe Kanika Mataji, you can continue. Beautiful verse.
Geyasa nitya sannyasi.
Geyasa nitya sannyasi.
Yona dveshti na kankshati.
Yona dveshti na kankshati.
Nidvandvo hi mahabhaho.
Nidvandvo hi mahabhaho.
Sukham bandhat pramuchyate.
Sukham bandhat pramuchyate.
One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Gaya sa nitya sannyasi. So very easy words you can say. Gaya means you should know. Sa, that person. Nitya sannyasi. Who's a sannyasi? Now externally we say who's wearing the garb of a sannyasi, orange clothes, and that also in a particular way, you know, is wearing a dhoti in a particular way. He has a danda in his hand. That we call it sannyasi. But Sankarshan Maharaj was saying in one of his classes, a factory worker can be better than a sannyasi. A sannyasi who does not remember Krishna, who does not propagate about Krishna, actually, it's as per Rupa Goswami, it's a disturbance in the society. He has no control over his senses. He's not a Goswami, and he's meditating about sense gratification in the dress of a sannyas. Huh? But a person who's a nitya sannyasi means always sannyasi. Is not dependent on your dress. It's about your consciousness. So what's the consciousness characteristic Krishna is telling in this verse? First one, yona dvesti, very important, who does not hate anyone or anything. Huh? All of us, you know, we have some our good friends and some not so good friends, and some people we don't get along with, right? I'm sure all of us has a big or a small list of them. But the first characteristic of this person, if you want to become a sannyasi, not by the dress, by your consciousness, nadveshti, you will not hate anyone or anything. We'll read more about in 6th chapter. Na kangshati, and you're not hankering for something. We're all hankering for material possessions or material name, fame, or something we want in the material world. Huh? If you still want it, you cannot be a sannyasi by your consciousness. Huh? Na dveshti, na kangshati. Third characteristic, nirdvando. We all face duality of the world. Sometimes, what are the dualities of the world? 6 dualities of the world. Anyone? 6 dualities of the material world. We discussed about it. Let's see if we can all count together. Sita Ushna, Man Apman, Sitoshna, Man Apman, Sukha Dukheshu. These are called 6 dualities of the material world. So we all get Sita Ushna. Anyone can control the summer or the winter weather. No one can control it, right? Whenever it comes, you just have to tolerate it. You adjust your AC or your heater and just tolerate. Sita Ushna. Man Apman, who will respect you, who will disrespect you always. Can anyone control? When you go out of your house, you can have full control over who will do your man and apman. No control. Who will give you, honor you, which words you will not know. And you say, Prabhu, I never thought you will say such things about me. You get to hear. Lal Govind Prabhu said very nicely, one who has put you on elephant today will definitely put you on donkey tomorrow. Be ready. Be ready. The person who's giving you respect today, be ready to get disrespect from the same person. And that will be test. Radhanath Maharaj said, the advancement of your spirituality will be tested. How you deal in your provoking situations. Huh? When the provoking situation come for anger, lust, greed, how you deal with them. That is a sign of advancement. Sign of advancement is not how many initiations you have taken, what's the dress, what's the color of your dress. That's not the sign of advancement. The sign of advancement is how you deal in the provoking situations. When the anger, the force of anger comes, how you deal with it. When force of lust comes, how you deal with it. Force of greed comes, and we can all test ourselves. Huh? And we will know. Sometimes devotees, oh, you're a devotee, and you feel so ashamed. Be devotee. Because you know your weaknesses. You know your weaknesses. Huh? Okay, it's a work in progress, but we know we are weak. Huh? My Guru Maharaj said, many times we are not strong devotees, we are weak devotees. We are devotees, but we are weak devotees. What does weak devotee means? When the temptation comes, we succumb to the temptation. Okay, what can I do? When extra puri comes after you have filled till here, some Prabhu, ek aur, Prabhuji, ek aur, or a piece of cake comes, or nice gajak comes, or rabdi comes, Roshagulla comes. Who can deny it? Who can deny it? These are the simple things which I'm talking. So internally also we get tempted with lust. We get tempted with greed. Yes, you can take benefit. No one is watching over you. Can you deal with that greed? Can you deal with that lust? Can you deal with the anger when you know you are right? This person is definitely wrong. Does Shastra tell you to get angry at this person? No, Shastra says control your anger. So these are the situations, some of the situations. Illusion comes. Huh? When we have false hopes in the material world. No, I will get it. I'll get it right. I'll get it right. Don't worry, Prabhuji. I'll get it right. It's never going to be right. False hopes. Having hope is not wrong. Having false hope is wrong. Huh? Prahlad Maharaj says we should not have false hope. Have hope. What is the hope with the material world? It will frustrate you. Chaitanya Prabhu says the best in the material world you get is frustration. And the worst you get? Devastation. So material world and material people is frustrating you. They are doing the default thing actually. You should not get frustrated with them because they are doing the right thing. If you are dealing with a snake, what do you expect from the snake? To come and kiss you? He'll come and bite you. So when you're in the material world, people will bite you. People will defame you. People will misunderstand you, misrepresent you. All these things are just normal in the world. So we should not be surprised. Prabhupada said, be surprised on the one who are still devotees. If someone is dealing with you nicely, you should be surprised. Arey, this person is so nice. For last 5 years, he has not become angry at me. He has not said any wrong things to me. I never see him in a provoking situation. How come? So those person you should be surprised, right? Huh? So this is nirdvando. We should, all these 6 dvandvas, 6 dualities, how we are overcoming on that. So if we can do these 3 things, na dveshti, na kankshati, don't hate anyone or anything. It can be a person or a thing. I can't sit in particular airlines. I hate this. Some people say that, huh? Na dveshti, na kankshati. I wish I could fly a business class. Some people say that, huh? I will fly in business class. That's the dream. I met a person literally. He said, I had a dream and I fulfilled that dream by paying $6,000 when the actual ticket was like $1,000 or something. Huh? So na dveshti, na kankshati, nirdvando. Then you become Mahabaho. So basically, why he's referring to Mahabaho? Don't just show me your external arms, external biceps, how big bodybuilder you are, how great position you have in the material world. You become Mahabaho, a person with great strength, by overcoming these internal enemies. Then you are a Mahabaho. Mahabaho, we don't become by our wealth or by our external body power. Huh? So Krishna is saying, then you become Mahabaho. And then what will the result of that? Sukham bandhat pramuchite. Very easily, very happily, bandhat pramuchite. You will be out of the bandhan. Very easily, you will be out of the bandhan, of the bondage. Makes sense? Beautiful verse. So 3 qualities are given. Continuing the thoughts, 5.4. Nidhi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Sankhya ayogo prathag bala.
Sankhya yoga prathak balaha.
Pravadanti na pandita.
Pravadanti na panditaha.
Ekamapi asthita samyag.
Ekam apyasitaha samyag.
Ubhyayor vinadate phalam.
Ubhayor vindate phalam.
Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world. Sankhya, those who are actually learned, say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both.
Thank you, Mataji. In the 5.2, Krishna also says, Ubhayor vindate phalam. So same thing he is saying here. Sankhya yoga. So one path is Sankhya yoga. Now Sankhya yoga refers to karma samnyasa, which means inactivity, renouncing the activity itself. So Sankhya yoga, prathak balaha. Bala refers to a balak, a childish. Only a childish people say Sankhya yoga. Prathak refers to different. So Sankhya yoga, which is renouncing the activity, is separate than ekam apistha samyak. So it's different than karma yoga. So Prabhupada writes here, only the ignorant, which is balaha, is speak of the devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, which is the Sankhya yoga. Sankhya refers to the counting, Sankhya philosophy. Ekam api asthita samyak, ubhayor vindate phalam. Ubha word refers to in Sanskrit two. Both of them will give the phala. But if you see them differently, then you are not a big pandit, you are a bala. Now, why Krishna is saying both are giving the phala? Now, let's go to Srimad Bhagavatam. And the verse is Kriteya Dhyate Vishnu, Tretayam Jitomakai. Kriteya Dhyate Vishnu. So Krita Yuga, when Sat Yuga was there, what was the method, Yuga Dharma of that? Dhyayate Vishnu. Meditation was the method, right? With the meditation, people will do 60,000. We read about Ratnakar Daku, I think 60 to 80,000 years he was doing meditation. Vishnu, Tretayam is to Makhai. In Treta Yuga, what was the method to go back to Godhead? Makhai. Makhai refers to yajna, sacrifices. Dwaparo Parisharyam. In Dwapar Yuga, the method was Paricharya, deity worship. We read Prathu Maharaj doing big deity worship. And Kalautad Hari Kirtanan. In Kali Yuga, the same thing is achieved by Hari Kirtan. So in different yuga, the different method is recommended. So similarly, Sankhya is a valid path to achieve the goal. But now, is that valid medicine valid for me today? That is not the case. You understand the point? So Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga, they both are valid path. Karma Yoga, obviously, as Prabhupada writes, is devotional service. As Kanika Mata is asking earlier, referring to Bhakti Yoga here. So in this yuga, although Sankhya Yoga is a valid path, Karma Yoga is a valid path, but which is better? Karma Yoga path is better. Because renouncing the activity and going to jungle, meditating for 80,000 years is not possible. Giving up the activity and meditation is not possible. Although it's a valid path. But if you see them as different, so Krishna is talking very high level here and saying both paths will lead to the destination. But which one he has recommended earlier? Karma Yoga. We'll do one more and then we'll stop. It's a similar sort of thing, same as 5.4. Maybe I can ask Rasan and Prabhuji to read. He's on the top of the screen.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Hare Krishna.
Yat sanya prayat sthanam.
Yat sankhya prapyate sthanam.
Tad yoginar api gamyate.
Tad yogair api gamyate.
Ekam sankyam cha yogam cha.
Ekam sankyam cha yogam cha.
Yes pashyati sha pashyati.
Yah pashyati sa pashyati.
One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yet Sankhya prapate sthanam. So what is sthan, what destination, what place you will get by Sankhya? Tad yogair api gamyate. So the same destination is achieved by yoga. Again, here referring to Karma Yoga, working devotional. Ekam sankyam cha yogam cha. They both lead to the same destination. Yah pashyati sa pashyati. A person who is seeing them like that, they will both lead to the same destination, is the actual seer. And that, as I said very clearly earlier, they both lead to the same destination. But what is practical for me? Now you can say, you can go to Melbourne by aeroplane, or you can go to Melbourne by car, right? Which one is faster? You say aeroplane is faster. That works for me. But driving a car, it will take like something like 8 to 10 hours. Now, which works for me, that we have to agree to. So we'll see which works for me. And Krishna actually has already said Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is Vishishyape 5.2. Karma, out of these two, Karma Yoga is better. So we'll see how this Karma Yoga is better in the subsequent verses in our next class. Okay. It's 9:15 sharp. Any quick questions are there? We can take that. Okay, all good. All want to just finish the class and take some rest. Sure, you're entitled. So next class we'll have on 2nd of October, and as we discussed last week, it will be given by Ghanshyam Prabhu. So please come in full attendance. Come on time. Always you should come on time. And please join Ghanshyam Prabhu. He's also very, very busy, but he's giving us time, so we should take full benefit of his association next week. If you have any questions, please write it, and we can discuss in the beginning of the class next week.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.